Hey there, Eli here to talk about Consecrated Path Totems in 3.21 Crucible League. I'm going to get right to it because if you're watching this video, you're probably familiar with the build and want to know all the juicy bits like what's changed, is it bricked, etc. And to answer that straight away, no, it's not bricked, not even close. Fortunately for us, nothing has really changed in regards to my leveling guide in the notes section of the POB. The notable difference is that we've lost the Precision Mastery to increase reservation efficiency by 100%, which made it really easy to pick up while we were leveling. But we can instead take the new Mastery of plus 500 base accuracy with minus 2 accuracy per level, and this should solve our accuracy needs as we level up. And for those wondering why the increased reservation efficiency made it easier while leveling, it's because Precision reserves a flat mana amount instead of a percentage. So because as we gain max mana as we level, it becomes easier and easier to reserve flat amounts of mana. I'm going to recommend keeping an eye on our hit chance as we level up with this new mastery node, but I'm pretty confident that we're not going to have any problems with our hit chance. But remember, we need to level up the gem as we are leveling up, so pick it up as soon as we can here in Act 1. And that's it for leveling, passive tree changes, skill gem changes. Nothing's really different. I'm probably still going to pick Shield Crush to level with, so if that's all you're interested in for this video, you're good to go. Build's fine, have fun. But in the event you're curious about new potential, stick around. So I was perusing PODB's list of passives, and I found this little guy here. Does anyone else remember Sentinel League with these boots? See that mod? That is the stuff of dreams, my friends. This passive is 100% undeniably organically certified to send this build's damage into the stratosphere. This mod allows this build to run Uber Eater, Uber Elder, and so on with relative ease because it does around 11 million DPS to them after their 70% damage reduction. So if this mod can be obtained on a Brutus's Lead Sprinkler, it's good game. And we have every reason to believe that it can be. Now, while there's a ton of mods available to pull on these new passive trees, there's two skill-specific ones that are relevant to us. The one for Consecrated Path is okay until we get to the second line. Profane Ground would be a nice offensive measure as it gives another minus 10% enemy resist and gives us another 1% flat crit chance against them. However, converting all of our fire damage to chaos, this sucks. At least for this version of the build. Pinnacle and Uber Pinnacle bosses get 30% chaos resist, and we don't reduce it at all or enhance our own chaos damage very easily. If we could somehow sustain max wither stacks on our targets, which we can do with the alt quality wither step that lets us do 11 stacks at once, but if we do that, we'd be right back at our normal damage after we replaced our fire penetration gem with Awakened Void manipulation or concentrated effect. So it's really a lot of effort, and then if we were to do that, the Profane Ground doesn't really help us as much because the minus enemy resistance doesn't apply to chaos. So it's really changing the build around a lot in terms of its playstyle for getting withered stacks up without getting any real benefit because we end up at the same damage levels as we're at right now. So unfortunately for this build, that one doesn't really work. Now the next one that affects our ancestral totems is actually probably useful. 40% of damage dealt leached as energy shield. We don't have a ton of ES. My builds usually land between 350 and 500, but having an additional hit point pool constantly leeching up does provide some level of additional protection, even though it's not huge. I wouldn't call this significant for us, but it's a benefit. So for our weapon, we're going to want a Brutus's Lead Sprinkler with flat fire damage per 10 strength, but how about our shield? It looks to me like this is a shield mod for an additional 5% strength. And there's these dual mods for 10%. Now, it's not clear yet whether these are exclusive, but even if it's not possible to get 15% additional strength on our shield, it's clearly possible to get 10%, and that is significant. Those are the biggest changes I've seen so far. This is 100% a comfort pick as a league starter, as it's super reliable and scales in traditional stepping stone fashion for the gear you want to acquire at certain points in the leveling and mapping and bossing process. There's a reason I call this an S tier build. And now that we have the potential for another flat fire damage mod per 10 strength, we have another league where its damage can truly scale to the highest of endgame activities with reliable success. Remember to check the video description for a link to my complete guide on the build. I really do want to make another one for you guys, and it's on my list of things to do for this league. But first and foremost, I want to get deep into that endgame and figure out what's what so I can let you all know how to exploit it, or at the very least, not screw it up. See you all on launch, and as always, this is Eli, signing off.